guys. The road trip is canceled.
Once upon a time, we decided to do one last hurrah American road trip for Mindy's final senior year college spring break.
And then we decided we'll make it big. I'm going to take off my classes on Friday. We're going to make a 9-day road trip. We're going to go to Virginia. We're going to see Monticello, Montpelier. We're going to see Mount Vernon, all of the presidential estates, because we hadn't seen Montpelier yet. And so I was very excited because I'm obsessed with Madison. We're going to hit the things in DC we missed the last road trip we make. We're going to go up the monument because it was closed last time. We're going to see the cherry blossoms. It's cherry blossom season. It's going to be great. We're going to go to Philadelphia. We're going to run the Rocky Steps. And we're going to go to the Benjamin Franklin Museum. You know, something that's maybe like a block away from Independence Hall. You know, just little things like that. And then we were going to go to New York. I've never been to New York. We're going to see the Statue of Liberty. We're going to see LaGrange, Alexander Hamilton's home. We were going to see Six and Hadestown on Broadway. We made costumes, little bounds of characters from Six and Hadestown to wear on Broadway.
And on the way back, we were going to hit up Williamsburg, just cap it off, a nice relaxing time.
Yeah, just one day at Williamsburg to end it.
And then head back home. It's going to be a blast.
It's going to be so much fun.
But on the way up, something happened. We got the news that due to current events, Mindy's dormitory was going to be closed for at least the rest of the week. Probably she would need to move out.
It was fine. It was fine. It was fine. I needed to move out of my dorm in Atlanta. We were in Virginia at the time. While we were driving up to Virginia, we had to cancel New York because Broadway shut down. The whole city shut down. And it was fine. I was fine.
So what do you do when you're already in Virginia? You go ahead and see some historical sites, right?
Yeah. Something like Monticello.
And after Monticello, we decided to go ahead and go over to Montpelier, which was James Madison's home, just a hop, skip, and a jump away.
As you may or may not know, I am obsessed with the great and beautiful Dolly Madison, who is James Madison's wife, or should I say James Madison was her husband. You know, a little man named James Madison. He was married to Dolly. And I was very excited to learn about her.
Oh my gosh, we haven't been in the house yet. Oh my gosh.
This is totally our first time seeing the house. Well, what is that? The house?
What? Is that the house?
We totally didn't
I can't wait to tour it. Oh, I just love the fence though.
The fence is really
nice. Just appreciate it. I like that it's a multicolor, actually.
I mean, yeah, the fence, it's nice. It just doesn't work.
Oh, the house is so pretty, though. I'm really sad we can't go to Mount Vernon.
I brought my paints and everything.
I wanted to see the Potomac.
We can see the Blue Ridge Mountains. Oh, those are those mountains back there. They don't look as good on the camera.
That's sad.
They look awesome here.
I always wanted a house with green shutters on windows. I don't know why, but I've always wanted green shutters on windows.
It's because you were obsessed with colonial things.
It's true.
So while we were there, we did get to tour the house. We got to look around, see the different rooms, learn about Madison history. We also got to learn about the enslaved people on the property and their impact on history as well, which was really cool to find out about. We really enjoy hearing those stories and knowing more about the full picture of history. And then we explored the grounds.
It smells so nice.
And since there was such a beautiful magnolia tree blooming at the start of spring, we thought it was the perfect location to take some pictures because Mindy had worked really hard to make her modern Regency bound. She really wanted to be channeling Dolly Madison, one of her favorite founding figures, and it was in her own backyard, so it was the perfect place. And then we finally took a look at some of the few exhibits that were still open in the visitor center, and it was really interesting seeing the few things that they had out. And then, of course, we went to the gift shop because what else are you gonna do?
Madison, Bill of Rights, I don't care about any of that.
Constitution.
Constitution, where's Dolly?
Yeah, there's the bust of Dolly over there.
There's a bust of Dolly. I don't think I can buy that. Oh, Dolly Madison by William John. Oh, I can. It's 150.
Is it worth it? Yes.
It might be. School portrait, Madison. Hey, this is only $22. I can hang it on my wall.
You could.
I think I will. I think we'll come back and
I think that will be a purchase.
there's t-shirts over there.
There are, you want to look at the t-shirts?
I want to go read the t-shirts real quick. Here we go. This is the biography I'm reading right now. I'm like literally halfway through it. I like just hit like page.
Ooh, parlor politics.
Oh, where's ooh. Oh, this is from the same lady who wrote Perfect Union. That's the same author. I'm definitely buying this. Because
Yeah, that definitely seems like a book that you need. The First Ladies Republic.
you're not making this easier.
I'm not. But this is their fault.
Oh, the Queen of America. Oh, that's Mary Cutts Life of Dolly Madison. Is this like the memoirs and stuff? Yeah, the first biography and first biographer. So this is based on the memoirs and letters.
Some suffragettes. Oh, they're so pretty.
They are. Here's the Votes for Women. Oh, it's all Votes for Women. Oh yeah, there's Dolly right there.
Dolly was right.
Yeah, with her turban. Conscience is the most sacred of all property. Knowledge will forever govern ignorance. The people are the only legitimate fountain of power. Oh no, the earth is silently and bountifully making a contribution to our
Its contribution.
enjoyment. And then a Montpellier sweatshirt. I might get the Montpellier sweatshirt.
Yeah, that might be a good one.
It's probably like
It says James Madison's, but we can cross it out and put Dolly on there. Ooh, magnet.
Dolly Madison magnet. It does feel weird getting the Dolly Madison one and not the James Madison. Like, you feel like you should get both of them.
They're so cute together.
I know, that's why I feel like I need to get both of them.
Like, he really kind of had a good looking face. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not the worst.
It's not the worst.
It's not as good as hers, but
Well, I mean, nobody's as good as hers. It's resemblant.
I already bought a quill. So I could pretend to be Dolly Madison.
The like little 3D models.
You
You need that. Yeah. And this little ornament. It's really pretty. You're standing there.
What?
Behind you is the sign of Mysteries of Montpelier with the hand pointing, and it looks like it's pointing at you.
Who is this person? Oh, we never looked at the bobbleheads.
Oh, it's true.
I mean, it's just a bobblehead.
They're just bobbleheads.
Why they gotta do old and crusty James Madison for the young Thomas Jefferson?
I don't know, man.
He was old when he was president.
He was.
Oh, John Adams, they did dirty.
Oh. You're so dapper.
I'm so dapper. Am I gorgeous?
Yeah.
If it was just a little bit smaller, I could put a hat pin on it and make it one of those like Rococo hats.
I know, it needs to be just a little bit smaller.
Oh, look at how pretty she is. Oh, that looks like the dress I'm wearing now.
It does. Look
I
at
mean-
that. Look, here, I'll get a close up of that.
Okay.
And we'll get a shot of you. Look at that.
She had a pet macaw named Polly.
Aw.
She screeched in French. Her language laced with swear words. And she scared people by dive bombing. Once when the president was defending a visitor from her, she bit James' finger down to the bone.
It was technically after Montpelier had closed. It was after 5. But it's public. It's a public park, public grounds. They can't close those, right? So we took a little walk. We saw some horses because they keep horses on property, and on the way, and then we saw the family graveyard, and we saw James's grave. He's buried with Dolly, which is really sweet. And there's actually a big story in that of moving them together because they were not always buried together. Since they didn't have the property when they died. But I don't know all the details. I'm not going to go into it. I'm not done reading the biography.
In commemoration of the 100th anniversary of the death of President James Madison.
There's a plaque like that near at the cemetery for Lafayette too.
The
Ben Franklin chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution.
It was put up by the Williamsburg chapter of Daughters of the American Revolution, and to those charge of the shrine was given. Chief of the Army, Navy.
In honor of his service as Commander-in-Chief during War of 1812.
He did technically fight. Oh, Dolly Madison.
Aww.
1993.
Women's of Virginia Historical Trail.
That's lovely.
But before Montpelier closed, we were at the gift shop, and the lady informed us that had we come tomorrow, it would have also been closed. They had announced that all the public historical locations were no longer going to be in operation. And we inquired about Mount Vernon because that was supposed to be our next stop. And it was already closed down.
And then the toilet paper run happened while we were in Virginia.
So we went on to our next Airbnb at DC because we didn't have anywhere else to go.
The cherry blossoms were still blooming, so that was nice. I got to paint a little bit with some cheap brushes I bought before we left. We canceled our Philadelphia plans. They hadn't technically closed Independence Hall or Benjamin Franklin, but at that point, it was a safe assumption that they weren't going to be open. But we called ahead, right? We called ahead to Colonial Williamsburg, which is supposed to be our last stop. We were already in Virginia, and we were like, hey, are you going to be open? And they said they were open. So we drove down to Colonial Williamsburg, our second home for some reason.
We have annual passes. We figured we can salvage this trip.
Yeah.
It's not going to cost us anything extra to just go
I
direct.
forgot that I have an annual pass to Colonial Williamsburg.
And while we were there, we got to see really cool things. We also got to go and visit the tailor's shop, and we got to see, I only know the Instagram name, I'm so sorry, but Malibu Darcy working on Zach Vincent's waistcoat and for the garden party, which we weren't sure at the time whether it was going to happen or not. As we know now, it's been moved. We went into one of the stores and was mentioning what happened to us to the clerk. And we were saying, everything else got canceled and closed. And so we adjusted our vacation to here. And he asked us, how long were you going to stay here? And we were saying, we're not sure. And he said, okay, because we're closing Monday.
This was on Sunday.
And at that point, the road trip was officially canceled.
It is canceled.
So essentially the conclusion we've come to is the universe just never wants us to leave Virginia because the first time we were trying to really go beyond Virginia, we couldn't. And so that's the story of the road trip that never happened.
Yeah.
We're really hoping we can do, this was our second road trip, so we're really hoping we can do America the Road Trip Part 3. One day. Hopefully before Hadestown's original cast leaves, because that was half the goal. Now, I do want to mention at this point, the whole time we were washing our hands frequently, we were hand sanitizing, and all the places that we were at were also having a lot of sanitation procedures. So we were looking to stay safe.
And
that was definitely the highest priority. we appreciate how everyone is staying safe, and we did ultimately appreciate everything closing down.
Yeah.
But it was very sad, and it ended up being a comedy of errors for us, and we wanted to share that story with
Share with
y'all.
you.
And this road trip video ended up very different than we initially anticipated.
We initially planned, yeah.
And if you'd like, you can follow us on Instagram at Needles and Nerds. We also have a TikTok. There's not much on there right now, and it's probably really lame, but you can follow us there at Needles and Nerds too. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, because eventually we'll keep putting more videos out, and hopefully you like these.
Ring the bell so you know when we put new videos out, because we don't have a schedule yet. But
One day.
we will.
One day.
We will have a schedule at some point. It's going to be great when we do.
So stay safe.
Stay indoors.
Thank you for
and
watching.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.